guys! Haven't done a vlog in a little bit. So you might have noticed there's been a little bit of a gap in videos here. That's because I was just on a trip to London. So I was there for about 9 days. So it was a little bit of a gap between when I was making videos then and when I'm going to make videos now. I am working on some new videos right now. Those are going to be out, like some more professionally edited videos. But for now, I thought I would tell you guys about my trip over to the UK. I'm still a little bit jet lagged. I've recovered some. It was a little rough for a couple days. This is the farthest that I've ever traveled. I've been to Canada, but I haven't been outside of the States outside of that, so, and I've never flown overseas before, so that was quite a trip. But the flights, so nice. So nice. Well, because they were really long, and I had, a couple flights each time, but they gave you free movies to watch, or TV shows. They would give you meals. It was like the airplanes were run by witches that were feeding you so they could fatten you up and put you in their oven. Like, it was too much food. Like, they're like, oh yeah, we got like the meal, and then we got like a snack, and then we got like some chocolate ice cream, and then we got like some soda for you, and then we got all that, and I'm like, some pretzels, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna save these pretzels. I can't possibly eat this much food. And it was pretty decent food too. Like they had to be able to store them and package them and all that, but it was pretty decent for that kind of food. And I watched some movies of varying quality. I was expecting more recent stuff, which was what my first flight was like, where I saw Zoolander 2 and Hail Caesar. Zoolander 2 was awful. I don't recommend it. Hail Caesar, if you must have a review, don't really get it. I like the old Hollywood type stuff in it, but this vlog isn't a movie review, so I don't have to get into too much detail there. The flight back was like 10 hours. It was longer than the other one, and that was just the first flight before I had to go back, which was a whole other thing. But the flight there had some bomb-ass movie choices. Like, I wasn't expecting to have anything that wasn't that recent, but they had things like way back to the 40s. Like, they had Anchors Away on there. I was like, why is Anchors Away on this? I could be watching Anchors Away on this plane. And maybe I should have, because it was like 2.5 hours long. Like, that movie is just like never ends. But I passed on Anchors Away for another classic, Free Willy. Free Willy and Jurassic Park. Free Willy I hadn't seen since I was a kid, so it was kind of nice revisiting that and how ridiculous the movie is in retrospect. And it was just fun to kind of see that again in a movie that was nostalgic for me. Jurassic Park I've watched a lot. There was a point when I was a kid where my brother and I recorded Jurassic Park on TV, and then we just watched it every night for like a week straight. We would just be quoting it to each other, just really dumb things from the movie. We could have a coupon day. So that movie's really nostalgic for me, and everyone loves Jurassic Park, so come on, you can't go wrong. The kid in front of me was watching Batman v Superman, which I have not had the misfortune to see. But every time I looked over and saw bits of the movie, it just looked so depressing. It just looked like such a not fun time. And I've heard, all these things about the movie, so I know how bad it is. And this kid, at one point, he drops his pillow, and I pick it up and hand it to him. And he looks back at me with the deadest eyes. His soul is sucked out. Just a zombie. He was not having a good time watching this movie. And of course, I feel like a creeper, because I'm like, here's your pillow, and then no smile back. Not even a polite smile, just... done. He's done with this movie. Gone. So I went there with Phelan, and we saw Big Ben. We took a tour of the Thames on a boat, and that was a lot of fun. I got to see a lot of really cool sights around there. I did more walking than I've ever done in my entire life. It was so much walking, and if you've not had the pleasure of being on the tubes in London, I don't recommend it, because they're very complicated, very hot. We were thinking, we're like, let's go to the UK, let's go to London in the summer, because then the weather will be nicer. We didn't want to go when it was like really shitty winter weather. When we arrived, it was in the middle of a heat wave. It was hotter in London than Los Angeles. And like with the humidity, like it feels like you're going to die. And on the tubes, miserable. Just people compounded in, like so many people in this small space, compacted in there. And there is no AC in London, really. I mean, there's some. We were very fortunate that our hotel had AC, but this is actually a luxury. For those of you who are from other countries than the UK, you might not know that it's not really built for warm weather because it's usually very stormy or very cold, so they don't usually need AC. So a lot of places aren't built with AC, and they're built very well for keeping you warm, but not for keeping you cool. And no one was really prepared for this, and a lot of shops don't have AC either, so you don't get that escape. They'd have like fans set up, you know, to try and cool you off, but it was it was just coming down on you in waves. So much to deal with. By the way, I got a slight tan being there. I never tan. So I had to go to the UK to get a tan, right? Look, I got a little telephone box here, and it's a pencil sharpener. I got this in the souvenir shop for the Sherlock Holmes Museum, but we didn't go to the Sherlock Holmes Museum, but we were on Baker Street, and I got that there. It's not Sherlock Holmes related, actually, but I just thought this was neat, and I wanted to have something that was specifically tied to London that I could have on my trip. Put it on my little trinket shelf. We went to Ripley's Believe It or Not in London, which was super fun, and that one did have AC, so worth the price. And that had a lot of really cool stuff to see there, and it was so much for how much you paid anyway, so I really felt like you got your money's worth. But a lot of really weird, quirky things, and also something really fun I found there that relates to something I'm going to be doing later, and I'll be talking about that in a different video. Got to see Camden Market, which was very hot and crowded, very hippy-dippy. Kind of reminded me of some places that I'd seen in Arizona, like Sedona and things like that, where you just go out to an open market and that people are just selling a bunch of shirts with catchphrases and incense and weird stuff. Got to see Greenwich Village, which is sort of a more upscale place. We had some Ben & Jerry's there, which, you know, so UK. It's great to see sort of like the highest and the lowest scale of things, because London is very much like New York. It reminded me of New York a lot in that there's no traffic rules. People just do whatever they want. They're just going to cross the street whenever. But a lot more bicycles and a lot more brick. There's so much brick there. Like it's such a great blend of historical things and new things. But London is very expensive. So a lot of people that you're going to see in like the heart of London, the busy part of the city, is going to be people that are very business people, tourists of course, but a lot of people that live there are kind of more upscale. And then you get to other parts, kind of on the outskirts, you get to the more, the poorer parts of town, for lack of a better description, which was great to kind of see the different kinds of people. And it felt like London was a very worldly place. And there was a lot of people walking around like, I didn't understand what language they were speaking. I don't know what they were talking about. But there were so many people from so many different places, all milling together. And it was a fun look at different cultures. I saw a place called Suck. The name of the store was Suck. I don't know if they know, but I hope they know. It wasn't like an ironic thing. It was just some place called Suck. We didn't go in there, so I don't know what it sells. I got to see a ton of really cool people, and that's sort of the main reason that we went, really, was to see our friends in the UK, and some of them we haven't been able to meet because they haven't been to the States. We got to see Film Brain and Welshie and his fiancée Sarah, and Happy Harry and his girlfriend Joyce. We also got to see Mike Jevons and his wife Grace. They were all super awesome people. We'd never been able to meet Mike before now, which is weird because we'd known him for like 6 years, but we'd never been able to meet in person because he doesn't come to the States. So it was really great to be able to see him, and I felt like we didn't really get enough time to talk, and that was unfortunate. Like, I felt like, well, with everyone, really. I wanted to have more time to spend with them, because they were all super nice people, had a super great time. It was great to catch up with them and see what was going on. If you guys have not had the pleasure of meeting Matthew Buck, he is a very, very generous person. Every time that he goes to MagFest, like, he'll always bring a bunch of candy. Like, we called him the Candy Fairy one year, because he would just bring a bunch of UK candy to share with people. And he had these gifts for us, and this is just some of them. He got a ton of stuff. It was this heavy bag, this Ninja Turtles bag, which I think is in some of the pictures, so I'll show them here. But they're so thoughtful gifts is the thing, and I felt bad we didn't have anything for him, so I'll have to get something to kind of make up for it. So thank you again, Matthew. Here's some of the stuff that he got. You know, my Quantum Leap obsession. He got me a coaster and a mug, which is so great. Also, some DVDs, Invisible Mom, which I have the first movie. I think this is the sequel to that, or no, I have the sequel to it. I think it's a sequel called Invisible Dad. Either way, they're connected. Invisible Dad was really funny, so I'll be happy to see this. Prince of the Sun with Cynthia Rothrock, which I have not seen either, but it looks really great, and I've had it on my wish list for a while, and it was so nice of him to get this for me. I hope that it's a ripoff of The Golden Child, because that would just be amazing. But either way, I think it's going to be some good stuff. And it's on Blu-ray, so it's going to be extra HD. Jetix Magazine DVD, which I don't know why this was in the store now. Like, why this would be available, because this had to have been made early 2000s. Maybe late 90s, because this has an episode of Big Wolf on Campus on it. I think it's the two-parter, actually, so it might be 2 episodes. But this show has never been released on DVD except for like 3 episodes, I think, that were like randomly with magazines and things like that. So this is one of the few copies that actually exists, and he got this for me. And if you guys didn't see the video, Big Wolf on Campus was my first obsession. As a kid, I really loved the show, so I'm so glad to have a copy of this. That was so thoughtful of him. And he got some action figures and some candy and things like that. The action figures for Phelan, of course. Very nice of him, very cool. And in case you're wondering, yes, I did get candy. So much candy. Either just buying it while I was there or as gifts from people. A lot of really great stuff here. If you've never been to the UK, one thing you should know is that it's Cadbury country, and I don't mean that as in Cadbury's located there. I mean like the country runs just around Cadbury. Like everywhere that you go, Cadbury stuff. There's like 5 different candy sections in every store stocked with Cadbury. It would be like worming into things that weren't even candy. It would be like Cadbury Cocoa and things like that. We got some Lion bars, the regular and white. I don't think the white is even a UK exclusive. I think this is from Poland originally. We got that at Poundland. Finally got to see Matthew's favorite store, Poundland. Such an exciting thing to see, I know. It's like, it would be like coming to America and being excited about going to a Walmart, you know? But it was interesting to see that, because it's such a staple. And we went to an Iceland as well, just to see what it was like in this really kind of crummy market that the top part of the shopping center was just a casino. It was just gambling. These, by the way, are Ghostbusters interactive gummies. Oh, sorry, interactive jellies. Interactive. Because you see, you get the no ghost thing, the little no ghost bar, and then the little ghost that you stick inside of the into the gummy here. Ah, look at that! Look at that! He's inside his little no ghost thing. He's stuck, and then you eat it. But I'm not gonna, because it's gonna be a lot of chewing, and I got a video to make. But it is really good. I have had some of these. Another thing that you sort of get used to in America, when you go to restaurants, they'll refill the drinks for you. Unless it's like a specialty thing. But usually, you know, if you get like a soda or a water, they'll refill it for you. They don't do that in the UK. In fact, they don't even really give you water. You gotta pay for it. Sometimes they'll have tap, but for the most part, you gotta order like a bottle of water if you want something to drink with it. And they'll always ask you if you want sparkling or still. Who picks sparkling water? Like, who drinks that? I guess it must be something that people do. I've never really gotten it. I don't really... Just have a water or a soda. Just pick one. I don't want this in-between stuff. We went to various shops around there. We went to a place called Forbidden Planet, which has a lot of really cool pop culture stuff, and that was really fun. But it was also on a very hot day, so all of us were kind of dying. But I got some souvenirs that you can see back here. I got this little gizmo doll, and that's really cool. I got like these My Little Pony and some gem earrings. But that was from a different place. That was a bookstore that I don't remember the name of it. Yeah, so I go to the UK and I just get a bunch of like pop culture souvenirs. Like nothing like specifically to the UK, except for like the little pencil sharpener. But you know, it's a vacation. It's just cool to kind of spend time with people in a different place and feel more worldly. We went to the London Dungeon, which is an attraction where they talk about different macabre things in UK history or pop culture, things like that. Like they had Jack the Ripper and Sweeney Todd and things like that. But the actors in it, they'll be doing these things, but they'll interact with the audience and they'll have you view things. So I got put on trial, and Phelan, they threatened to cut his dick off in the torture chamber. Good stuff. That one I think was my favorite attraction to go to, actually. That was a lot of fun. And it was sort of our last day that we went to do that too, and so it was nice to just spend the day doing that and then walking around. And we got some Pizza Hut. But you know, some fancy UK Pizza Hut, because they had like a bar in there, like it was a really upscale Pizza Hut. It's so funny seeing all of these American restaurants there too, like they'd have like KFC or McDonald's or things like that. There were a lot of McDonald's and Starbucks, which we did not go to. We went to some pubs, which was fun, and I got some fish and chips because I'm a stereotypical American. I gotta do that while I'm there, and they were really good. We went to one pub that just had a bulldog just sitting in the front door. And you just hang out there and then just walk around and just like sniff at your stuff at the table, just like, hey, what's up? Is that for me? No? Okay. Go over here now. I don't know why he has that voice. I think he'd have an English voice, wouldn't he? He's an English bulldog. He's gonna be like, hello, cheerio, Pip Pip. Gonna look at your stuff. Give me some food, your fish and chips. It's a good English accent, right? I feel I've immersed myself in the culture. I've become a regular Londoner by being there. UK TV had some interesting stuff on it. I don't know if you're aware of this, but no matter what time of day it is, there's always going to be Big Bang Theory on in the UK. They love the Big Bang Theory. I don't even have TV in the States, actually, so it could be very similar to what's going on in the UK. But they had like some fun quiz shows. I watched a lot of Dave, Room 101 and QI and Taskmaster and things like that. Top Gear. I love Top Gear. I've seen it before, and that was fun. I was so glad that we were able to catch Dennis the Menace 2 on television. Which we had not seen before. That's the one that has Don Rickles as Mr. Wilson. It's Mr. Wilson the movie, and occasionally Dennis will show up. They've also got Brown-Faced Carrot Top. Apparently that was acceptable then. It was something. We didn't watch the whole thing, but I felt like we saw enough. We went to a museum called the Modern Tate, which is an art museum, which apparently has a reputation for being pretentious and crap. And it was really near where we were. And Phelan's mom had been there and had told him that most of the art there was not worth paying for, so it was nice that it was free to get in. And we didn't have anything to do one of the days. We were just sort of relaxing and kind of recovering from a long day that we had been walking around and exhausted ourselves. So we're just trying to chill out. We're like, all right, let's go to this art museum, like see how bad it is. Oh boy, we did not expect it to be that hilariously bad. Like it really was, like hilariously bad. There was a room, I shit you not, just had blank canvases in it. And that was the piece. Like it wasn't like a holder, like it looked like it'd be a placeholder for something, but it wasn't. That was the piece, there's just blank white. One room. I thought I saw a plaque that had like a description of some of the art, and so I went closer. But that was the art piece, and it was a receipt from Sainsbury's. which is like a grocery store they have there. It's really common. A Sainsbury's receipt. And that was the piece. It wasn't painted or cut up or folded or anything. It was just the receipt framed. And then the lady had bought things that were all white. And that was the art of it. I read the plaque that described this. It was the most pretentious thing I've ever read. Are you kidding me? They had one room where it had like mixed media, which did have some cool stuff. Like there was some actually neat things, but very few of the art pieces were cool or worth it. They had one room that was just a giant tower of radios. Really old radios to some more modern radios, and it was just a giant tower, and they're all playing music, and that was really cool. And they had a room that had a bunch of mixed media and things like that, where they would have like television screens and things like that, so it wasn't just paintings. And they had some TVs that were playing, like there was like a waving Minnie Mouse, and then butt stuff. And then people sticking stuff in butts. That was art to them. Sticking stuff in butts. Butt stuff. If you've never been to the Modern Tate, I highly recommend it. It is hilarious because there are people there like, yes, I get it. They don't get it. No one gets it. Because it's stupid. I got to meet Grumpy Cat. The actual Grumpy Cat. I know. It's so exciting. It was so funny. We were going to go to Madame Tussauds with Mike and Grace, and he was messaging me on Twitter, and he says like, oh, Madame Tussauds Twitter is having a caption contest for a Grumpy Cat thing. Grumpy Cat's going to be premiering her statue there. And so I was like, well, why not? And I entered this contest, and one of the things Mike said was, apparently it's not that hard to win, and it wasn't. Because like barely anyone entered it. There was like maybe 5 winners, I think. Maybe a little more, but everyone could bring like 2 guests, so there was more people than that. And Mike and Matt and me all won this contest. And I was looking at some of the other entries, and I don't want to call anyone out, but like some of them, I don't know how hard they were trying. I'm just gonna say, like, it was not very difficult. I didn't have to think very hard for it. But I won this Twitter contest. I got to go into the Madame Tussauds for free, but I also got to see Grumpy Cat, and we got to meet her. So we get there, and they told us we had to be there at 8 o'clock sharp. So all of us had to get up super early. Everyone else had to get up way earlier because it was in London, and they had to take the tube to get there because they're not from London. And we were there waiting in line until like 8:30. So I feel like they may have overstated the importance of timeliness in this. I don't know, maybe like they were trying to sober up Grumpy Cat, and she's just having none of it. We went in there. And it's like this little exhibit room. And there was 2 stands with 2 pillows, and one of them has the wax statue, and the other one was empty. And the lady who owns Grumpy Cat comes in, holding Grumpy Cat like it's the Lion King, just ah. So all of us, yes, good, Grumpy Cat, yes. So we all got to come up and basically, one by one, get a picture with Grumpy Cat, or like with our guests or whatever we wanted to do. And they would take the picture for us. We were instructed not to touch her. We are not to touch Grumpy Cat, so we couldn't touch her. So we could come, but we could like hover, but we couldn't actually make contact, so we couldn't pet her. But she seemed very soft. And she slept through most of it. So I think almost everyone, their pictures, her eyes are closed. She's just sleeping there. And everyone, of course, does like the grumpy face, and she's just done with it. She's jaded. It's so funny, too, that the statue, it's animatronic, so its head moves. So it's sort of like... It moves more than the actual cat does. It moves like the cat was just stone still. Well, it could have been the statue for as much as it moved. And that statue is not even theirs. It wasn't even made for them. It's on loan from San Francisco. It's not even the first time that statue's premiered. It's just Grumpy Cat's going around with that statue to places just to get free trips, I guess. That cat's got it made. Madame Tussauds had a lot of really great stuff in it, though. Like, it would have been worth going even if we'd had to pay for it, but it was a lot nicer that we didn't. They had a lot of attractions in it and things like that, and that was super fun. I got to meet 2 celebrity pets on this trip, because on the way back in Heathrow, I almost walked over Carrie Fisher and her dog. That was weird. That was a weird thing. Like, I was trying to run to catch up. Phelan had already missed his flight, so he was waiting for a different one, and I had to go to a different terminal, and so I was kind of trying to rush to get there. And then I see this dog, and I almost walk over him. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And as I'm passing, I look at the woman, and I'm like, what? Double take. That's Carrie Fisher, right? That's Carrie Fisher. But she didn't look up. She was doing something else, so I didn't say anything to her. I probably wouldn't have, even if she'd, like looked up or something, because I get scared around celebrities. I'm just a very socially anxious person, so I wouldn't know what to say, and I was in a rush anyway, but it was just sort of a funny experience. I was wearing my Quantum Leap t-shirt, so I hope that if she did see me, she knew that I was cool. The way back was terrible, because normally when I'm taking any sort of trip, I'll come from my town to Chicago, and then I'll go wherever that is, because there's usually a straight flight from Chicago, but there's never a straight flight from my town. And then on the way back, it'll be a straight flight to Chicago and then to my town. But they didn't do that this time. It was from Heathrow to Dallas and then to my town. I was like, why do I gotta go to Dallas to get to Illinois from London? Like, this doesn't really add up, does it? That's why the flight was 10 hours when the other one was 8. So I got there, but they gave me the minimum legal time that they have to do for a layover for any sort of flight, which is not acceptable at Fort Worth. And it certainly was not enough time for me, because I had to get my bags and recheck them in and get through security and then through customs and then go on a shuttle and then get to the terminal, and all of this in an hour, and it was just not feasible. So I had to get my flights rerouted, and my luggage got kind of mixed up, and it was this whole big deal. It was very stressful, and I was very tired. I was half asleep, and I was just upset because I had all my cool stuff in there. I don't want to be like, oh, I went to London and then all my souvenirs and stuff are gone. I had my comb in there too. I like my comb. But I got it back, so I got all my stuff, and it's cool. I try to be less stressed out now, I'm not so successful with it. I can get kind of a temper, but I was trying. It was a stressful thing to go through. Anyway, enough about airports. You don't want to hear about airports and a bunch of stressful stuff. The trip to the UK was very expensive, but very worth it. Like, I felt like at least once in my life it was nice to just say I was going to go do something, and then I did it. And it was great being able to spend time with Phelan and with my friends, and to see different sights and to see a different part of the world and experience different people and feel like getting out there and being a human being for a little bit. I'm such a hermit, so it was really nice to kind of experience that outside of traveling to a convention. Anyway, it was a really fun trip. I had a really great time. Thank you again to my friends that I saw there. If you guys are watching it, I hope that we can see each other again soon. It was really fun. Now I gotta get back into work mode. So here's the stuff that's coming up. I've got a couple very special videos coming up that I'm really looking forward to, and one of them is going to be leading into the other, which is a movie review. And after that, I'm going to be talking about Showgirls 2. Exciting. And I don't know what else is going to be coming up. I'm sure some really cool stuff. It's a good update on what I'm doing. But anyway, that stuff is going to be worked on, and I'll be getting back to some Bay watching too, so you guys will get updated on what's going on with that. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys very soon. Bye!